So welcome to this new tutorial for KABOOM. We will today use a moving object to crash it on the ground. So let's see how it works. So first we will add an impulse to the object to make it fly. Let's first create a first key for rotation and position. Then let's go to frame 7 and move the object and rotate it a bit. And this will create the start of the motion. So now we will add some rigid body settings. So for this we will add rigid body settings and just animate the animated functionality. So one frame before the last keyframe, we'll add a animated keyframe on, and one frame later we will disable animated. So when disabled, the animation keyframe are not used. Rigid bodies settings drives the animation. And that's it. And if you want to slower the first motion, you can just add some space between the first keys. Then you can adjust as you want. You can, for example, make the position less high. Adjust the space between the keyframes. Then when you're ready, when you're okay with the motion, you can add a ground to crash the object. So let's set it to rigid body passive. So the object will bounce on it. Now we can add some we can adjust the surface settings by adding some friction to add much more realism to the motion. By default, the settings are too slidey. So that's okay. Now we will add the object to KABOOM. So add it as a group, and then let's find the keyframe where we want it to fracture. So select it, go to the keyframe, and let's say 50 chunks. And that's it. Now we'll use rigid body constraint to keep the pieces together. By default doesn't work well, so let's change some settings in the rigid body world. Let's from 0 to 100. And now this is so much better. So we can change the strength of the constraint. Select the object, adjust the strength. You can adjust one object by one object if you want for the strength. So that's good. Now what we can do, we can break again some some of the objects. Let's break this one at this moment. Select it. Use a lower value like 8. And that's done. The idea is to create some different size chunks with some small and some bigger to add realism. Let's break another one. So that looks good. Now we will have to bake. So let's adjust the surface friction for all the rigid bodies. Select it, and with Alt you can adjust all at once. And that's much better now. So we'll bake to the range of keyframe you wanted. Every object will be baked to keyframe. So that's it. Everything is animated by keyframe now. So let's add some particles. We'll select the main group. So let's start the emission of the particle at the moment of the fracture. The particles are going through the ground, so we will add a collision on the ground. In the particle section you can add some damping and some friction. Okay, good. So you can edit the particle settings. Select one of the particles, go to the particle settings and change any settings you want, for example the size. and you can deploy these settings to every other particles with this button, deploy particles. We can add some velocity to make best impact. Same, you can deploy particles so every other will be updated. And this will add some dynamics to the animation. Now we can add details on the object with the rough cut. Select the object and add some rough cut, and now you can add some details in real time. You can use a subdivision and the size of the noise and the amount of displacement. Adjust it like you want. This will avoid the flat cuts. You can then adjust the material. By default, KABOOM generates a cut material. You can replace it or adjust the color. Let's adjust the color for a concrete break. Don't forget to bake the particle dynamics to avoid problem at render. If some particles have some weird motion, weird behavior, you can simply delete. For example, this one is flying away. You can try to adjust settings, but the easy way is to remove it. So that's it. Thanks for watching.